Okay, so let's take a look at kettlebell deadlifting. So I'm over here, obviously at our kettlebell racks. I've grabbed 2 kettlebells, and let's break this down a little bit so you can understand sort of the mechanics and what has to happen since we're now picking up a load for the very first time. The reason why we typically will opt for kettlebells before we get into a barbell is because the barbell gets a little tricky, especially at the bottom position when you're picking that up, because the bar has to travel past the knees. Not usually terribly difficult, but it does create a little bit of difficulty because the knee, even in the deadlift, is out over the kettlebell, over the barbell, and shins will get scraped. You might bang your knee. So there is some, when you're doing a deadlift with a barbell correctly, it may not be the most fun for general clients or general population. So we like to introduce the kettlebell because we can maneuver a little bit more easily around the kettlebell. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to start with 1, and I'm going to stand sort of laterally from you guys. And the idea is, remember, the hip hinge looks like this, and if I just let my arms relax, you can see that the kettlebell should be relatively between my 2 feet. Now also notice as I'm doing all of these lifts that my head and neck stay neutral as well. I maintain neutral spine here, and I stand up with really good form. All the movement is coming out of my hips as we already described. So I'm going to step over my kettlebell, and I'm going to bend down, break at the waist. Okay? I have a nice stretch in my hamstrings. My trunk is nice and vertical. If I'm not sure, I'm going to go back, get the bar, and make sure that I'm doing it correctly, right? Grease that groove before you get to picking up weight. So I'm going to reach down, head and neck are neutral. I'm sitting back, I'm looking for the wall behind me with my rear end. I reach down, trunk is up. Neutral position, I'm looking eyes straight forward. I'm going to go back down, I'm going to touch, I'm going to come back up. Those are the repetitions of a very good form deadlift. Okay? Now, obviously this is, well, not obviously, we've got a lot of weight here. This is a 16 kilo, it's yellow, it's nice to see, it's visible, very visible. But as I've said before, or maybe I haven't said this, but we've got a lot of weight with kettlebells. In fact, at the very end we've got, well, this one is 48 kilos. So 2 48 kilos. Multiply, let's just say 50 kilos by 2, it's about 100, just over 100 pounds of weight. So I can literally be deadlifting 200 plus pounds with kettlebells. That's a lot of weight, even for someone who's relatively strong. So we can live at the kettlebell location for quite some time when working with clients, or if we're a beginner deadlifter, to really focus on getting the pattern developed. Okay? So two kettlebells, what does that look like? Okay, kettlebells, there they are. I just have to make sure they're in between my legs. Okay, so I'm going to step out over that kettlebell. I'm going to have good form, neutral head, neutral neck and spine, maintaining the whole entire kinetic chain, breaking at the hips, eyes look down, nothing moves in my neck, keep my neutral spine, grip, I'm in control, there's tension throughout my body, I stand up, nice and tall. Notice my hips come directly under my shoulders. I come back down, touch, stand back up, okay? What I don't want to see is sometimes people will leave their rear end, let me stand here like this, they'll leave their rear end out like this and say, I did a rep. No. You have to pull up and let your hips come underneath your pelvis, so to speak, and then you can restart the exercise. Touch, stand back up. I'm always keeping tension even when I touch the floor with my kettlebell. So even here, the kettlebell is on the floor, I have tension throughout my entire body and core, and now I stand up to complete the exercise. That's your kettlebell deadlift.